So Trump's only defense is that effectively he said, not for real. Like, he just said, I don't see any reason why it would be. Not, like, for real. That's effectively what he's saying. And how pathetic is that? How, my fingers were crossed. My fingers were crossed. Sorry, hey, you know what? You couldn't take me at face value because you didn't know, motherfucker. My fingers were crossed. And how does this one get taken seriously? And how does this two get any traction? And I think the answer is because he's a puppet dancing before us like the buffoon that he is. And as the citizenry or the serfdom is caught off guard and entertained by said buffoonery, they just reap and sow, getting $1.5 trillion in corporate bailouts that are being spent on stock buybacks, which effectively are executives who make millions and millions of dollars. So in some cases, 800 times the amount that the average worker makes. And then with their millions that they make, and as well as in bonuses that they pay themselves, they spend that money to buy public options off of the public market. And so what this does is it naturally inflates the value of what the stock is worth, because it's no longer on the public trading, so it's more rare, so then it's more expensive to buy. And then what it does is it also gives that person stockholder value. And so now the more stocks they hold, the more value they own in the company. And the more say they have to make this a cyclical event, while they keep people on low enough income wages to earn welfare, qualify for food stamps. And that's public money. That's public taxes. That's my tax. That's your taxes. So you are paying for a corporate asshole to make 800 times what you were making. You're paying, you are actively putting that money into his bucket so he can make 800 times. So we're already doing that. People are freaking out about this whole thing about the I don't even want to say her name. So they're going to be the first billionaire, the youngest woman billionaire. Oh, I'm America. Yeah, we are the richest country in the history of the world because of how many billionaires we have. Woot woot. And so, like, this is fucking, like this means anything. We are already doing this to much of the biggest companies in the world, and we're actively already giving them money because we allow them to pay starvation wages, in which our money is spent in taxes to supplement that. Our money. So these people can pay starvation wages while they have a yacht they park inside of their bigger fucking yacht. How is that fair? How is that fair? And really, is it really a gay man who wants to stick his wiener in another guy's mouth? Is that really where your problems stem? Really? What he does behind his closet? Are you really sure that's where your problems lie? That's the reason why you can't put food on your table? That's the reason why you can't get promoted at work? That's the reason why you can't get an education? That's the reason why you can't send your kids to a nice public school or private school? That's the reason why your kid may be unemployed? That's the reason why you're in prison? That's the reason why you can't make your mortgage payment? I mean, come on. Really? And let's get past this idea that the most superficial things about us, our sexuality, our if we're a liberal, if we're a conservative, is somehow the defining character of our being. How many of you have ever had a fucking conversation with somebody on the other side? I went out and I spoke to some of the NRA guys in front of the March for Our Lives national event that was going on in Sandy, Utah. So I go out there in an Our Voice t-shirt with an American flag, my bullhorn, and I had a Velociraptor blue head. That damn thing is insulated, it's hot, and fuck, it's a desert. And so I didn't really wear it much, but I did get a picture of the Salt Lake Tribune of me wearing it. Yes. Oh, it was great. Deep state. And so I show up and I actually have a conversation with these guys. And yes, there was some yelly white guy stuff. And I was a yelly white guy. They were a yelly white guy. But they started yelling and I got in. And I planted a flag really early. And I said, you do realize that these kids likely, speaking by kids, I was referring to David Hogg, Emin Gonzalez, and the other kids. You do realize that these kids likely still wake up in a cold sweat, hearing the dying screams of their friends. And yet, you chase them around in an armored Humvee with a 50 cal. And he interrupts me. We do not chase, we follow. Like he's screaming at me semantics. Like he finds the most superficial thing in a fucking argument and he tries to exploit it like somehow that's the defining character of the argument. And somehow that's a means to dismantle your argument. It's the stupidest fucking thing about it. And so I say, okay, so you follow these kids around. To me, that's tantamount to finding out I'm an Iraq war veteran and you chase me around with an ISIS flag. And they had nothing. They couldn't come back. So, well, you can think that if you want. And yeah, of course I can, motherfucker. And yeah, you need to be embarrassed of what the fuck you're doing. That's disgusting. Why can these kids PTSD not be treated in the same dignity that a veteran's would be? And yeah, I didn't want to go to war the times that I did either. I didn't want to go to 2 separate war zones, but you know what? It happened. I joined the army, and it is what it is. These kids didn't even fucking join. This shit came to them. What the fuck is wrong with you? You fucking chase them in a goddamn armored Humvee with a 50 cal, and you think that you are a moral human being? You think I should take you seriously? You think that just because you think that a fetus has a right that somehow you're moral? You are disgusting and depraved pimple of humanity. You're so disgusting. It's hard for me to even pinpoint exactly what it means to me. This cesspool, this pustule, this boilless, disgusting. It's disgusting how divorced from humanity. How would you even think if it was your kid? This is just gross. And if you lack the compassion, I don't even give a shit about empathy. If you lack the compassion to try to put yourself in somebody else's shoes who just saw their friends die, who likely still wake up from a cold sweat, hearing their goddamn friends screaming, and there's nothing they can do because some asshole who is less regulated than a fucking soldier can have a goddamn combat rifle go and blow away a bunch of people, and then you chase them in an armored Humvee with a 50 cal. How the fuck is that normal?